Thank you. If we'll start by looking at the agenda this evening, as you see, we have some interesting things on it. Does anyone have any comments, questions regarding tonight's agenda or changes? If not, may I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It passes. Very good. The next point is the point 5, the consent agenda. There's 2 items there, the approval of the claims and warrants for L544 and the approval of our regular meeting minutes from the June 15th meeting. Take a look at those and let me know if anyone has any changes, questions, additions, etc. Hearing none, I would ask again for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Very good. Thank you. Moving on to correspondence.
We do not have any this
We
evening.
do not, but we do have some presentations and special guests.
We do.
Which is next?
Yes. So this evening I'd like to welcome Pat Brunette from the Friends of the Novi Library up to the podium. Pat?
Good evening. I'm representing the president of the Friends, Sue Johnson, who's not able to be here tonight. Last week, the Friends had their annual meeting, at which time we passed our budget, as we do every year. And President Craig was at the meeting with us, and he heard us pass a budget of approximately $40,000, which includes 2 separate items that will be represented tonight in the presentation. We, every year, pass without debate a whole list of programs that the library puts on year after year. Summer reading program, the music art and the morning arts program, the kaleidoscope program, which is a series of lectures in the evening, and several others. In addition to that, we, the Friends, work with the director of the library and look at a wish list that she prepares of items that she'd like for the library that are over and above the things that are covered in the budget, her budget. And so this year, again, we're very pleased that we're able to come together on items we would like to see purchased for the library. And we came up with a list of about $12,000 in that category and about $15,000 in the regular annual programs that we do without debate. So it totals out about $28,605, and what we'd like to do is present that to the board tonight, and with our best wishes that we continue to work together as well as we have been. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, please do. Am I in the middle? Thank you.
Great.
Thank you for everything you do for us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. That is so awesome.
I knew the treasurer would like it.
Always start with the treasure.
Thank you, Pat. And please pass on our thanks and good wishes to the rest of the Friends. It's been a very good relationship between all of us who love the library. We're very appreciative of what you do, and it will be put to very good use.
You're very welcome.
Yeah.
And one point I didn't make is that and you wrote this, I believe, in one of your reports. Last year, the library, the Friends of the Library, made about $24,000, wasn't it, from the sale of are handling a great number of books every week to get them prepared for sale, and we're making record sales this past year. I hope that continues. The other part of our budget comes from memberships, and if you haven't had a chance to consider membership for the Friends, we'd certainly like to have you as members. We're having a gala, a party really, that we have every year to give a thanks to those who have supported the library, and that's coming up August 26th, and we'd like to see you there as part of the celebration. So we'd love to have you there.
Thank you. You certainly do have a great group of volunteers at the Book Nook. They're very loyal and very dependable.
Well, thank you.
Would it be appropriate to ask what some of the donations in the wish list are this year?
You know, I included them in our budget packet, and what I can do is let me share that back out with you.
Which ones were chosen from that?
Pretty much everything but 2 items, and then it was left, which I really appreciate from the Friends, it was left to the discretion if something else comes up and said just because they weren't completely on board with it for the money to go to something else. So about $13,000 that we asked was actually given with 2 items, not that they were in favor of. But I will send that out to you, the approved list.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pat.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
All right. Next item, I want to introduce to all of you Gail Anderson. She is our new part-time programming coordinator that we have at the library. As you know, we had some changes last year in late 2015, and we took some time, both April Stevenson and myself, who's the head of information services, to think about what the library still needed when it came to programming and outreach for the community. And definitely we identified that a part-time programming coordinator for all the different types of programs that we do at the library was needed. So in early June, we welcomed Gail to the Novi Library, and I'm going to have Gail stand up. She's going to introduce herself to all of you, share a little bit about her background. I could tell you a little bit about her, but I don't want to steal from her speech. So I'm going to let Gail go ahead and share with you a little bit about her background and then what she's working on currently. Obviously, this is a new position for her, and she comes from a communication background. But I also included in your packet on page 49 the 5 job responsibilities that kind of go with Gail's job so that you can see how that fits. But Gail, go ahead, and thank you for attending this evening.
Thank you. My pleasure. I should have looked over my backgrounds again. Well, it's a pleasure being here once again as the programming coordinator for the Novi Library. It's certainly an honor and a privilege. My background in outreach, as some may know, I come from WDIV Channel 4 News as a news reporter there. And my experience has been 16 and a half years there as a reporter. And given that opportunity, it afforded me the chance to connect with a lot of people in various communities throughout the state of Michigan. In addition to that, I have my own business where I put on programs. I am a program event producer. So including in Novi, where I put on a couple of events, one at the Novi Fountain Walk and one at West Oaks, where I attracted between 2,000 and 5,000 people at both events. And it's kind of a community connecting type of event there. I've also had, I've put on events in various venues throughout the state. So I feel like this is a good connection between my background and what I can offer to the library. As programming coordinator, I look forward to bridging some of the lost gap in between an age group that we are possibly missing. The age ranges between 20s to mid-50s that we attract, but we don't attract as fully as I believe we can. So that's one of my projects. Also, I've heard in talking to a number of the people at the library, our staff, I hear everything from we have too many programs to we don't have enough programs or we have not quite the ones that we need. So that's one of my projects, working on what I've talked to some of the youth department, theme-based programming. So focusing on if it's going on in our nation, if it's going on in our world, if it's going on our blocks, if it's going on in our communities, we should be able to reflect that in the library. You should be able to walk in and see, based on what's going on our outside, you should be able to see it in the library. So I'm trying to structure our programming so we can unite as a unit both departments and focus on theme-based projects. One big project we're having coming up is Diversity Day, which is October 4th. That's a Tuesday evening, 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. And this will be one opportunity to connect various ethnicities. It's going to be a large-scale program, so that's one of the main projects that I'm working on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Gail will also be putting together On the Road, which was one of the programs that was very successful over the last few years, and we had worked closely with Kathy Crawford. And so Gail and Kathy are planning for a spring, just so if anyone's watching us tonight, we want them to know that there's a spring program in the works, and we are continuing to plan that, and it's a nice fundraiser for the library as well. Thank you, Gail.
Thank you.
Any questions for Gail?
Well, not a question as
Yeah.
much as a comment,
Okay.
I guess.
Okay.
First of all, it's nice to have you aboard. Thank you very much. We're delighted to have you. After the relatively brief discussion you made, I think most of us are already excited about what you've got coming down the road. As over the years, the library's transitioned from being a book depository and distributor to so many other things, and a community center. And the programming that we do really has, in many ways, set us apart and made us, as we like to say, the jewel that we are for the city. So we're very excited. I'm sure I speak for everyone here to have you aboard and to see the new ideas that you're going to bring. So welcome.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
An excellent addition to our staff.
Yes.
I know she will make us proud of the library.
Thank you.
And I'm looking forward for the diversity program.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I have a comment too. I just am so impressed with your broad-based background that you chose Novi to be the spot to kind of like let it flourish.
Absolutely. I live in Novi. My daughter goes to the Novi High School. My church is Brightmoor Christian Church at Novi. So now I work in Novi. I love it.
It's great. Well, we love it too, so thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Anybody else?
All you need now is the I Am Novi t-shirt.
Oh, right. I know.
Thank
Thank you.
I was just going to say welcome.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay.
It's such a fun night. We have so many good things going on.
I know, I'm excited. So I'm going to actually take the podium over on this end because this is my favorite part of the year. So we're here tonight because every year, and usually in July, we recognize some amazing staff and employees at the Novi Library. We started this about 5 years ago when we opened the new building, that we took on some recognition and wanting to highlight some people based on customer service and going above and beyond in their job when it comes to their goals that they set for themselves each year. So I'm very proud to recognize 9 individuals this evening. I know not all of them could attend due to some previous plans already planned, but I will mention all of them and talk a little bit about each one because I want you to hear what others say about these employees at the Novi Library. The first award that we give out is the NPL Customer Service Award, and this honors a staff person who has provided the most consistent and most positive customer service to our Novi Public Library patrons or staff over the past year. This person always greets patrons and staff with a smile. This person goes above and beyond to assist a patron or fellow Novi Public Library employee. This person is calm in chaotic situations. So there are 4 individuals that are being recognized this evening for that. Florence Woodbridge, Sarah O'Brien, Christina Salvatore, and Dominic Dude. And unfortunately, all 4 of them were not able to make it this evening, but I do need to share with you some great info. Did I miss them? Sarah, come down. I didn't see you. Sarah is here, yay. Okay, come on down here. You need to sit with everybody. You need to sit with the winners, with the VIPs tonight, our VIPs. So I'll start with Florence Woodbridge, and just so all of you know, the Customer Service Award, this is an award that's nominated through the employees. This is not from the management team. So these are individuals who see through their work day and through the year, you know, how this person might have excelled. So I'm actually sharing information from a staff person who wrote about our winners tonight. So this is some information about Florence Woodbridge. This person is recommending her for the Customer Service Award. She always has a bright, smiley face and is always willing to lend a helping hand. When I first started at the library, she helped me learn how to shelve and keep everything tidy on the floor. Her help has been invaluable when I have to go shelf read as part of my job. And Florence is one of our shelvers at the library as well. Another person writes, my nomination for Customer Service Award is Florence Woodbridge. When she arrives for her shift, she greets everyone with a warm smile and a witty greeting, checking to see how you are. Additionally, she is an extremely dedicated worker and team player, jumping in to assist where she can. Shelving, training, shelf reading, departmental projects, or any other task that can be of assistance. She does this tirelessly every day. She is here and is definitely an example of what external and internal customer service looks like. And we have a certificate. All of our employees that are being recognized tonight receive a certificate. We also have a plaque that goes in our library and our staff lounge. And all of these employees are recognized at a dinner that we host in August. So we'll make sure that Florence gets her certificate. The next person that I am introducing you to is Sarah O'Brien. Sarah, you want to stand up? Couple things about Sarah. I would like to nominate Sarah for Customer Service Award. I have only had the pleasure of working with Sarah in the Information Services Department for about 6 months. But in that time, I have seen Sarah in action at the reference desk, providing superb reference services to patrons of all ages. Sarah is not only very knowledgeable about the library, but always goes the extra mile to assist patrons and does so with her contagiously enthusiastic personality. So that's one person. Another person writes, Sarah brings an exuberance to each patron she helps. She takes time to listen to the patron and find exactly what they need. She epitomizes positivity in all of her interactions. And another person writes, I chose Sarah because she always is in a cheerful mood when I see her interact with patrons and staff. Some patrons in particular look for her when they arrive. One young patron said to me one day, Miss Sarah knows everything, and that's in caps. That's in caps and in a voice full of amazement. She goes above and beyond in her knowledge of the collections and in her interactions with our young patrons. Sarah stays informed, and her love of books and knowledge emanate from her like a joyful glow. Sarah has been a wonderful person to work with, and I look forward to working with her in the future. So that's from some of Sarah's colleagues. So Sarah, come on up here. Our next person is, and I had to tape all these lovely little things together so I didn't forget. Here we go. Our communication, Sarah is a librarian, by the way. I'm sorry, I did not give you that information. Our next person is Christina Salvatore, and she's our communications coordinator. Christina was not able to join us tonight, but a staff person wrote, Christina is always smiling when greeting our guests, both in person and on the phone. She is always positive and never wants to say no or turn anyone away without providing them with the utmost in customer service. Meeting room renters consistently call on her again and again for their rental reservations as she makes sure that they go away satisfied with their information and with what they need. Christina does a great job in managing the library's website, too. As a member of the web team, Christina provides updates in a timely manner for the pages that she's responsible for, as well as what others are responsible in the library. She recently listened to updates I requested for the Friends page, and it turned out beautifully. I'm also very impressed with Christina's creative skills, too. The summer reading program brochures this year for both the youth and teens are fabulous, very colorful, and inviting to look at. So that goes to Christina Salvatore. We'll make sure that she receives that. And then our last one this evening is Dominic Dute. He is a technology assistant for the IT department. And Dominic is so helpful with patrons. He does a lot with our patrons. In fact, a lot of the one-on-one technology classes that you can take, you typically take with Dominic. Very resourceful and definitely knowledgeable about many different types of technology. And this is what one of our employees wrote about Dominic. Dominic is very customer service focused. He is friendly and courteous at all times. He listens to patron questions, concerns, and needs, and always provides a professional and helpful response. In response to the annual technology survey, Dominic has added new technology to his list of training programs, including the GIMP GIMP Photoshop. So he takes, from our survey, he went ahead and moved above and beyond also in trying to provide that, and then also learn on his own in order to help others. So I will make sure that Dominic Dute receives his certificate. Moving on, we have some employees that we are recognizing as going above and beyond. And I'll read a little bit about what that is. The Above and Beyond Award, it honors a staff person who has shown their dedication to NPL. This person has reached all or most of their goals and has made an impact on our library by living the motto, inform, inspire, include. And we have 5 individuals who are receiving this award this evening: Kristen Abbott, Denise Johnson, Asar Tai, April Stevenson, and Lindsay Fricky. So I'm going to read a little bit about each of these employees, and I welcome Kristen to come on up. So this is actually from department heads for the Above and Beyond Award. So the department head looks at goals and works with this individual through the year. So she obviously knows who wrote this. I am nominating Kristen for this award because she exceeded her goals this year in acclimating to her new position as Tech Services Supervisor. She came into the position during a very chaotic time, not only for the department, but for me coming in as a new manager too. She was able to weather the storm of the changing workflow balance in tech services, managing to keep materials moving through the processing cycle with reduced staff hours and altered team dynamics. She stepped in and took initiative in making the role her own, and she integrated herself fully into the supervisor team too, consistently working with other employees on a daily basis to ensure the 3 sub-departments balanced and supported one another. So Kristen, thank you very much for your service above and beyond. Thank you. The next 2 are actually, it was a shared. When the department head gave me the information, she said, I can't choose one. I have to choose 2 for this, for being recognized for going above and beyond, and that's Denise Johnson and Asar Tai. Asar, you want to come down? So I know Denise is not here this evening. And this is what Mary Ann, I know you know who that is, so come on down. This is what they wrote about. So she writes, unfortunately, I cannot decide between these 2 staff members. I am nominating both of them because they have consistently proven to be team players. They are the 2 who have filled in for the most hours of any of the shelvers, always willing to go the extra mile to help fill in and provide coverage, especially this last year when we were extremely short-staffed. They have aided in training new hires, worked on nights when we had no shelver coverage, and always with a smile and a wonderful attitude. So, Asar. And our next one is April Stevenson. She is the head of our Information Services Department. So lots of goals this girl's handling. And with a lot of change, we had a large change in December, and this gave April the opportunity to really take on Information Services and run with it truly as her baby at this point. So staff changes, but also what I'm looking for and what I've seen is definitely some new directions when it comes to our Information Services Department. A lot of amazing goals from her staff and from her. She's very organized. Also, she really listens to her staff. And I'll read a little bit about what one staff person said, but my comments as well is that they appreciate her so much because of her listening skills, and then the opportunity for them to be creative and really bring some dynamic things to the library. And you've got to have an amazing leader like that, and that is definitely April at the library and in our Information Services Department. But also, let me share from someone, and it's OMG is how it starts. You all know what that means. I have to start by saying I love her. April is the kind of manager I wished I had at every single job I have worked at in the past. April is encouraging to her staff. She makes you feel like she really believes in you and your abilities, so you feel fearless. April is strong and a true leader to those who look up to her. It was clear from the first time I met the team and April that she has so much respect from her team and also gives respect as well. When we had some staff changes a few months ago, I had hoped that April would adopt me. Well, she didn't get her because I got this person, but this is how much April exudes that enthusiasm and leadership and management in her department, and really does lend a wonderful ear and guidance for our librarians to move forward and to try some exceptional things. So April, I thank you so much. Thank you. And finally, our last one is Lindsay Fricke. And Lindsay is one of our librarians working specifically with teen services. She's done some amazing programs in the last year, and this is what was wrote. Lindsay went above and beyond on two of her goals this year. She revamped the Teen Stop and made it more appealing, inviting, and teen-friendly. And if you haven't seen it, it truly is amazing, that space. I really don't think kids were sitting in it because they didn't feel like it belonged to them, and it truly does now. It is very much an inviting space, and we continue to keep working on what else will be attractive to our young teens, thanks to Lindsay. Out of this also came the new Tween collection. She also redesigned our teen volunteer program by streamlining the process and making it easier for students, parents, and NPL staff. If you're not familiar with Sign Up Genius, well, Lindsay's the genius who brought it into our library and has really made volunteering for our youth much better. And kids respond to that because those are some of the things that they're seeing and using when it comes to school and in their own daily lives. So congratulations, Lindsay. So at this time, what I'd like to do, I know we don't have everyone, but I would like to welcome everyone back up because, Craig, I'd love for you to join me. And this is the dedication plaque that that will be hanging in the library so that all of our staff can see it and enjoy it, and for them to see their names and know how important they are this year, as well as every year, but this year, thanks to their colleagues and nominating them. It says, in grateful recognition of our library stars for their enthusiasm, dedication, and hard work. And we have Kristen Abbott, Lindsay Fricke, Denise Johnson, April Stevenson, Asair Tai. For the Customer Service Award, Dominic Duke, Sarah O'Brien, Christina Salvatore, and Florence Woodbridge. Okay. So why don't we have all of you come on up and we'll get a photo. I know we're going to miss a few, and we'll try to, maybe at dinner we'll get all of you there, so we can do it one more time. Why don't we put you in the middle? Oh, boy. It looks like it's a bunch of ladies. At least this time. Come on this way. Let's even up here. Why don't you go in this way? We'll even out. Here we go. Can you get over with us, Julie? I can. Oh, good. Okay. Will you please help me in giving them all a big hand?
Can we handshake with each one of them? Either they can come.
Why not all of you come on up? We'll start with Melissa.
Hi, congratulations. Wonderful.
Nicely done, April.
Bye, Gail.
Craig, I just had one more comment.
Yes.
You guys should be very proud of yourselves because, in my opinion, I'll say not even almost, every Novi employee at the library goes above and beyond and excels at customer service. For you to be recognized above them, you must be real good.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Well said, Bill. Well, that was fun, huh? We really are lucky, and they're going to walk out and not hear, which is fine. But despite a great building and great books and great networks and computers and all that stuff, it's the people right there that make us what we are.
You are absolutely
So-
correct. Yes.
So we're very thankful, and I'm really glad that we do something like
Yes,
this.
me too.
So. All right. Now that we have no one here, we have time for public comment.
We cleared
In order to hear all citizen comments at a reasonable hour, the library board requests that speakers respect the 5-minute time limit. This is not a question and answer session, therefore the library board members will not respond to questions. It is an opportunity to voice your thoughts with the Novi Public Library Board of Trustees. Seeing no one coming forward, we will move on to the student representative's report.
To begin in June, on June 6th and 7th, interested teen volunteers attended the mandatory orientation meeting to become a summer reading program volunteer. And then on June 22nd, that was the annual summer kickoff for Tie-Dye Day, where people could come in to tie-dye their shirts. On June 29th, Bubble Soccer Detroit brought bubble soccer to Novi. Teens enjoyed playing soccer while inside a giant bubble. The total attendance in Teen Space this month was 259. This is lower than usual because Teen Space is now closed. After the school year ended, Teen Space also closed. For the summer reading program update, the summer reading program began on June 20th, and at the time of writing this report, there was around 250 students signed up in the 7th through 12th grade reading program. There are 5 reading programs for the specific age group. Read to Me is for infants through pre-K. On Your Mark, Get Set, Read is for K through 4. Get in the Game, Read is for 5th and 6th graders. Exercise Your Mind is for 7th through 12th. And the 2016 Adult Summer Reading Program is for the 18 and older. Student in the Exercise Your Mind Read program who read 3 books can attend the library's after-hour lock-in party and receive a free book. There's also a weekly drawing for raffles for completing exercises, and they'll earn a raffle ticket. This year we have 2 student interns. They are Mira Shivakumar and Sherry Lee. They oversee all the teen volunteers and help patrons sign up for the summer reading program, as well as logging in the minutes that they read. We're very excited to have them with us this summer. And for upcoming programs in July, Spectacular Sports Movie is on July 6th. Makeover Mondays is July 11th, 18th, and 25th. Fitness Training Workshop is July 13th. Get Your Own Groove On is July 19th. And Candy Olympics is July 27th. And on the following page, the top picture is from playing bubble soccer in Fierce Park. And then the bottom is the summer reading program, which began on June 20th.
What is the July 19th Get Your Own Groove On?
That is a program to teach you how to dance. So it's like a 1-hour session where you can learn
You would
some
need
moves.
a lot more time if I was. Any other questions or comments?
You know, Cindy, I have a question, and this will be an odd question. Do you do Pokemon Go?
I do.
You know, before the meeting here, I sent out an email with a link of a website I saw, and I made a copy here. It's called Why Pokemon Go in the Library is a Perfect Partnership. And I think, since my boys are fanatics about it right now, they spend a lot of time at Fierce Park, the library, et cetera, because these are significant Pokemon Go locations. And, you know, I think that they're, you know, creatively, we should take advantage of this fad, because it is a fad, and see what we can do to, you know, with some of our goals. Maybe there's a way to, you know, utilize that to achieve some of the goals that we have. So, Cindy, I don't know if you're an expert in this. I'm going to tell you right now, maybe there's a way that, you can come up with some creative ideas, or Julie, I don't know if people on your staff could think about that, but I just thought I'd bring that out there. It's really, there's been a lot of negative news about Pokemon Go, but and it's overlooking the positive of it. It's getting kids outside of the house, moving.
It is.
It's getting them to parks, to libraries, downtown centers, I look at
Smartest thing you've seen all summer, isn't it?
It is.
Yes.
I'm glad it came out at the time
too.
it did. I mean, it's been great, I think.
I agree. Can I say something? Really
Absolutely.
quick? I want to piggyback on that and not make this a Pokemon Go meeting, but I agree with you. So I'm a therapist, and I've actually had clients who have social anxiety issues tell me that that's gotten them out of the house. I've also already found articles that support the relevance of it and helping people in their mental health get moving, get social. So I'm right there with you, and I do have the app on my phone.
I do too.
I thought it was pretty amazing when my 13-year-old made me stop as I was driving into our sub, and we're pretty far into our sub where we live, and made me stop so we could get out of the car and walk the rest of the way home because he needed to pick up points from the game. So, you have to log so many miles and things like that to
Sometimes.
earn.
Well, for the egg
cash.
patch.
Yes, for crazy things. I don't know it all, but
Can't
he's
go
been
faster
outside a
than
lot.
25 miles per hour.
Right. He's like, no, I can't be in the car. It knows that I'm in the car, so.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing. I did want to point out a couple things to you in relation to the report. And Cindy, thank you so much for being here. I know this is your summer, and we appreciate you being here. The Friends, it mentions the 2 student interns. I just want to mention that the Friends of the Novi Library support that. And each of those students receive a $500 stipend for being our interns at the library this summer, working with all of our teen volunteers. And I know we had close to about 100 volunteers that are working this summer with us. So the program would not run smoothly or even be as accessible if it weren't for the teen volunteers that we have taking part every day of the week at the library. So I do want to put out a big shout out to Cindy and to all of our teams that are helping with the program. It's amazing. And it really does help, I think, attract young people reading when they see young people at the desks and involved. So
Sure.
just wanted to make note of that. Any other questions?
Okay. Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you.
Julie, I believe we have some fiscal year-end goal updates that you can address, maybe?
I do. Well, so we are at the end of the year. How nice is that? So there were a number of items in red added to your document tonight. This is the last month of reporting, so it does go through June. We are busy already putting together and formulating our goals based on the board goals that were approved last month, getting ready for our new year. And you will see a whole new document as of August and what we plan to put in. My department heads are currently working with staff and sitting down with them to hear what their goals are for the 16-17 year. And so it's a pretty exciting time because it allows them, to be thinking about what am I going to do for myself and for the library this year. So I'm happy to take any questions you might have. I know there's lots of information that's provided to you, and this would be the biggest document as it grows each month, but this would be the largest. And if you have any questions, please let me know.
I do have one.
Okay, great.
On page 20,
Okay.
at the very top, one of the things is sold end-of-life technology. That was the computers and stuff that we saw?
Yes, it was.
Earlier?
And the
Okay.
information that was provided, yes.
Okay.
It was completed in June, so that's why she
Right.
added it.
Okay.
Anything else? Well, as you can see, it's been a busy year. So I want to take at this time, I know we recognized a few staff members from the library tonight, but this document actually has every single employee involved. So every employee in some way has a part with what we're doing each year. So I just want to thank the Novi employees. We've had a great year. It's a pleasure to work with such amazing people that literally come to work every day and enjoy what they're doing. Everyone has, different roles at our library, and every one of them takes it very seriously and really comes to work enjoying what they do and works very hard, I think, to make us a great library. I tell shelvers as an example, I know that that's one of the lowest paying positions at the library, but yet if those materials weren't put on the shelf right, we would be in chaos. And libraries, as you know, are places of organization. So, and patrons wouldn't find what they're looking for, and we wouldn't find what they're looking for. So everyone has a very special part in our library, and I just want to thank the Novi Public Library staff for all they do.
Ditto.
Can I say something?
Sure.
I just want to say that this is very impressive. I mean, reading through it and seeing it and the way it's been put together is very, very impressive. So
thank you.
Yeah, beautiful.
Any other comments on the various goals and goal updates? If not, it is time for our treasurer's report. Trustee Augusta.
Okay. All right, so for Fund 268, the approved budget for Fund 268 for fiscal year 2015-16, which is ending June 30th, is on pages 37 through 39. It shows $2,673,181 of revenue and expenditures of $3,092,245, consuming $419,064 of our fund balance this year. For fiscal year 2016-17, which begins on July 1st, calls for revenue of $2,774,726 and expenditures of $3,035,900. This is a pending increase of $17,500, which are for matters of the board to discuss later, for work that was not completed in the previous year of installation of cameras. So the expected fund balance usage for the new fiscal year is $261,174. The revenue and expenditure report for fiscal year 2015-16, Fund 268 is next. It's on page 43. Is a summary of year-to-date revenues through June, and it's $2,795,584, and it has increased by $14,333. Expenditures. Our expenditures has increased in June of $196,373. So our total expenditures through June are $2,667,758. This is about 86% of what we had budgeted for. So since we are technically through our fiscal year of 2015-16, our overall position of expenditures is very good. Now, there will be additional expenditures will still be coming in, so we should have a clearer picture in a couple months. We currently have a positive net of revenue and expenditures for Fund 268 of $127,826. So barring any unforeseen expenditures, we are on track to use very little of our fund balance this year. All right, so Fund 269, there is no significant activity for the month. So we'll go to the balance sheet, which is on page 47 and 48. The balance sheet for Fund 268 shows our fund balance at the end of June is $1,847,249, and the fund balance for Fund 269 at the end of June is $1,661,973. And that is my report.
Very well done. Does anyone have any questions for our treasurer?
I have a question that I think is late, having to do with one of the warrants, if we can still do that.
Okay.
Page 5, the $999 check to Konica Minolta Premier Finance. I just want to know what that was, because of who it's to and because of the dollar amount.
That is a monthly lease that we have with our machines currently at the library.
Okay.
The copiers?
Yes,
Yeah, those are all the copiers.
they are.
They're all the
All of them in the
copiers.
building.
They're well
And we
released
have
them.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we have 1, 2, 3, 5. Admin IT. Youth, I forgot. Admin, IT, youth, and 2 public. 5 machines that we currently lease.
And that $9.99 is the same every month?
No.
Yeah, it fluxes, and the reason why it will flux once in a while is because of how much printing goes above and beyond our current, what's in the current contract. So, and we're actually up to look at new leases this fall to look at better pricing. We're just finishing out our contract currently. I believe it'll be in December, we'll take on a new lease. In September, we'll start looking for new opportunities.
But whether it's above or below the $1,000 threshold, it's still paid the same?
Yes, it depends on, it's just the usage.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Good question. Any other financial questions, comments? Okay. We are now down to the director's report. Director?
So the first thing I want to share with you is, we've talked a lot about our 3D printing machine that was brought to the library in the spring, and I brought an example for you. I think it's good for you once in a while to see what's coming out of there. So let me pass this along. Thank you. So this is a castle, and this is an example of what can be created in the type of material. It's a form of plastic that's used in the machine. We have an article, actually, be looking in the next couple weeks in Novi News that we will be submitting. We asked a patron, actually, to make a comment and share his experience with using the 3D printer now that we've made it available to the public. And we received a wonderful feedback from him. His experience was amazing, and he used it when it comes with music technology that he's doing in his home. So we were able to help him out by creating a piece that was designed in our 3D printer. And we're very excited that we have this. I just met actually with the superintendent of schools, and I know that they're integrating 3D printers more into the school district as well. So it's great that the library has it, so that I always say we're an extension of the schools, and when they close at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we're available to them till late evening, and hopefully we'll see a lot more use. We have with our 3D printer, but I just wanted you to see kind of what can be created out of there.
Thanks for bringing that in.
So we're going to talk about an amendment to the budget, which we'll do during Matters for Board Action, but that is information relating to it at the top of my report on page 49. Just keeping you abreast of what's going on with our cafe, and we did have a time where they weren't open at the expected time, so I just wanted to report to the board. There was an issue on July 6th that I wanted you to be aware of. Moving forward with our main entrance, I know that you all received an email from me this week, and I'm happy to tell you we're probably at about 98% when it comes to the project being completed and closed out. There's a few things. The striping has been done. If you've been to the building, we still have an electrical conduit that needs to be fixed that goes to a lighting, a piece of lighting at the library, and then we have some irrigation. We want to make sure they had to make some changes and do some shut-offs. We want to make sure that that's all complete as well before we actually sign off on the project. But it was on time, just within a couple days of what they had promised in terms of the contract, which I'm very happy with. We did not run into any major issues. I know when it got started, there was a little bit of communication there to get people ready for what was happening and the closing and not being able to pull right into the lot. So we had to make a few adjustments there, and signage and some cones, I think, helped. I thank DPS, which is the department that helped us out of the city to put this project together and really to make sure that it was completed well. And I also thank our Novi Police Department, because when we initially started the project, we had them come out and assess it and even offer a few more options for just making the area safe as people were driving in and out of the parking lot. So what I'm excited about is I think people realize that we do have another entrance into the library, which is really good, and it has forced people to use it and get familiar with it. So I hope that will alleviate some traffic, even when people are sitting on 10 Mile looking to pull in to the library, perhaps they'll go down and come in through the back way. But overall, I'm very pleased, and I think it looks great, and the traffic is flowing well.
Isn't that back way traffic one way, though?
You can't go out, but you can come in the back, yeah.
Okay.
Right, everything has to exit out onto 10
Onto
Mile.
10, okay.
But entering you can
Okay.
from Wildcat.
Were there any accidents?
I have not had any reported. Yeah.
I want to commend you as a facility director. You did a good job.
Thank you. The first day was a little chaotic when they started working and there were no signs up or anything, and I walked out and I thought, I don't think you can do that until you're telling people where they're supposed to go. But once we got that fixed, it was perfect. And again, the DPS department with the city of Novi was wonderful to work with.
And that was my only comment. I think it looks wonderful. I think it was needed. If we do any work again with that company, I think they could probably do a little bit better in the early stages with the signage.
Yeah, I agree. I do.
That was one of our concerns from the beginning.
It was, I know. So moving on, we introduced Gail. There's some information just letting you know about out and about in Novi and some of the things that I've been involved in over the last month. And then following on page 50 is some information for you about a new program that we're going to be launching with the school district. I am super excited about this project. We've had wonderful programs at the library for years. We do connect with our young readers. We do provide literacy. But I think that this program, which is called Raising a Reader in Novi, is what I hope will become a signature program for literacy, early literacy, with our young students and our young children in Novi. I incorporated, not all of it, but just to give you an idea of what the brochure will look like when we launch. But we are working with our Novi Community School District and the new preschool building that will be opening in August. I'm proud to tell you that there's close to 400 students registered for this fall. So we will definitely be connecting with those 400, along with our Storytime children that might be going to other programs and preschool programs in the community, or maybe even being self-taught at home with reading. So we have really two components, the school component, but then we still have our library component where we reach out with our Storytime programs. All of these children will be welcomed into this program, and we hope will work with their parents. And it really is a parent, I don't want to say responsibility, but I hope they understand that it's a parent's need to get those kids reading early. And so I hope by introducing this program, they will take it seriously and maybe even fun, to get to some of the requirements that we have for young children to read 1,000 books before kindergarten. That might sound daunting, but honestly, you're shaking your head and I agree with you. As a mother who has 3 children, some like to read and some don't, you sit down with them and you can get through picture books 2 and 3 and 4 a night. We know how kids are. It's never just one book, it's one more, or read it again. And I'm hoping parents will understand that and realize that this could be a fun way for us to encourage 3, 4, and 5-year-olds to get ready to read and then enter into their kindergarten year really with some great background and already some reading experience. So we're looking for them to read 1,000 books. We will be working with the teachers at the preschool building and with our families to track them, have them, the brochure allows them to complete 100 books in the brochure, and then they'll keep coming back and we will keep tracking them. Teachers from the preschool will be working closely with us as well. There will be little prizes to give as they reach those 100 books that they complete each time. And then at the end, if they get to that 1,000, and I know there's going to be a ton, we will do a party and we are going to have the children choose a book from the library's collection and put their name in it. So there's ownership to a book at our library once they finish and get to that 1,000 books. Huge thank you to the Friends of the Novi Library. They actually gave us the largest contribution to get the program started, $3,000. Our second sponsor is Vibe Credit Union. They provided $1,000 for the program. working with another organization as well and hoping to have them as part of the program as well. And then, of course, our Novi Community School District. When I reach out to them, I have to honestly tell you that I hardly get a no. I get, how can we make it work, or let's see how we can fix it and put it into our curriculum and work with you, Julie. It's a wonderful partnership that we've had with the Novi Community School District. And this is just another example of another great program that I hope will take our younger readers and get them ready for those years of success. Yeah.
I really commend you. I think this is such a critical need in our country and in our city all the way through. And I'm sitting here thinking that the children who will be the greatest beneficiaries of this are the parents who are the greatest beneficiaries of the services provided in this community. And I'm thinking of those children whose parents are not as engaged, not as involved. And I know to get this started, you're going to have to go with the low-hanging fruit, if you would, and the people who really would follow this and value this. But I just would hope that you don't lose sight of the extra involvement that it will require to reach those children whose parents are not as involved as the first people will be.
Absolutely. And I think one of the things that's making this project so exciting is that we are donating some library staff time to be incorporated into the preschool, along with our story times. But then we provide a list of 100 books that are easy to access at the library as well as at the preschool. In addition to that, we're letting parents know that, reading at the library, and when they come to story time, they can count those books. So it's not even always the onerous of even at home. We're hoping that by even the programming that they take part in or can get involved in, that doesn't always have to be through us, other reading and the grandparent reading and the school reading, that we can really build this. But you're absolutely right. It has to, this is going to be a big endeavor, I think, for us. We've been invited to the preschool orientation. We're actually going to do in August at the library an early literacy program that we hope parents will take part in, and that's not part of the preschool. So it's reaching those other parents who might not be involved in that way, but in the community, so that we can connect with them. It'll be a constant plug to remind them of how important it is. And we all know this. I don't think I have to give you statistics to know that children who read and read early are very successful as they move forward.
We used to call it lack time.
Absolutely.
You know, by the way, children. I'm just concerned that I can see the communication you're doing already with the Literacy Center and with the people who come. I'm just wondering, have you thought about what kind of communication for the children or for the parents who are not engaged in what you're currently involved with? And there's just a huge number, Are we doing nursery schools?
We have contacts with preschools, so yes, we can connect with our preschools. We plan to do a big launch with the Novi News, so that, and I know that's not a big venue anymore, but we want to get it out into our community papers. Our cable station, we're hoping to do a large presentation with that. I'm hoping to be at council in the fall, so that they understand that this is not just the library, but it really is a community initiative to let people know, hey, get involved, make readers, create readers in our community.
And start early. Right.
Yeah.
I have three things.
Sure.
One, I'm so jealous this was not around when my guys were little. Can I start over? Two, Facebook is going to be huge.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of those parents who may not be involved
Yes.
with their children are probably on Facebook.
Correct.
And do you know there's a new preschool academy going in on Beck Road in 11 Mile? There's a sign over there that says something academy. Now, but I thought it said preschool academy or something like that.
We will check into it.
Yeah, I think that's
That
what
is
it is.
under construction, and that's going to be, I think, in October or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will definitely check into it. We have a pretty good pulse on our preschools in the community, and we provide preschool information on the website. But they really do reach out to us to bring the kids for tours and for us to go out and do story times. So I'm confident that we will reach out to those other areas and not just the school with this initiative.
What about even daycares or something? Yeah.
Yep, we can make all of this information available to them. It can be used by anyone in the community.
Thank you.
Yes?
One benefit that I found as a mom of a 2-year-old, and actually before then, before I was a trustee, even the library has a directory of all of the daycares in the area and preschool. Can I just tell you, they help raise my kid, basically. There's so many resources, and Melissa, I'm sorry, I know that you're past that stage, but you can help out with Canon. But, but definitely, I feel like they're already doing this engagement piece that is way beyond what I've known any other community, sorry, no offense, entity to do. And it's so helpful, especially it was helpful for me as a new mom. Like, my kid loves books now. He's starting to do sight words. Right? But why is that? Because he lives here, you know? So I think being a resource for reading is great, but also when I was like trying to figure out where to put him to get socialized, I was able to turn to the library. So you'd be I'm actually their demographic. My kid is already enrolled. So I'd say you'd be surprised at the outreach that the library does, both passively and very actively and aggressively, and how that touches different demographics and different involvement levels. Even like I've met friends from the story times that are now like people I get coffee with that are nothing like me. That they don't get to read to their kid like I get to read to my kid, but they love their kid, and if someone else is going to read to them, they'll take them. So I guess I just say that to say I'm really proud of how you've taken this and like made it amazing. And as a parent and as a Novi person, and also as a board member, please let me know how I can help.
Absolutely. Well, you all are welcome to, reach out, and if you know this demographic and you know parents with these young children, we'll be launching it in August with the school at first, and then with our fall story times beginning. So we'll have things ready for you if you are in that capacity for that age group, and we'll be happy to give you information.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I really agree with everything that Tara has said. I would just say that from my personal opinion, and I think for the needs of this country, that is such a critical need in our society for early reading and early literacy, that commend you for doing it and urge you to keep finding creative ways to expand it.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you so much. Moving forward, there are a number of reports that I included, IT, and one thing I wanted to note from Barb Rakowski's IT report, if you look on page 54, I just wanted to give you, this is not something that looks for approval, but I do want to provide this information to you, and this is Barb's technology plan that she has put together for 2016 to 2019. It's not set in stone. I mean, her and I say, yes, it's approved at this point. Obviously, there's changes that can be made to it, but this gives her a good structure for where we're going in the future when it comes to the library's technology. So I wanted you to be aware of that.
Yeah, I'm really glad you included that, because it provides, it's an eye-opener as far as the types of things that have been thought of, let alone done. So hats off to both of you on that.
I will be happy to share that with her. I know that Barb works very hard, both her and her staff. Technology is always changing, and Barb really does a great job of keeping abreast of things with both her and her staff to see what we can do to improve. And we have found, I just want to let you know, and we'll be having these discussions in the future, but we have found that we are a little behind on some technology because we chose to put our technology plans of replacing some of our machines to later and going out 7 years. But I can tell you that the software that we're wanting to have and have access to and use for the public is not allowing us to have that software with the hardware we have. So we are running into some issues with that. We hoped that we could have a little longer time and spread out and use those machines, but as that technology changes, we've got to have the systems to run them. So I'll be giving you more about that, but I just wanted to give you a heads up. Barb is definitely on it and working very hard to find the best solutions for the library. On page 6061, we have a facilities report from Keith Perfect. And moving forward with 62 and 63, there is an information services report by April Stevenson. As you know, you met April this evening again, and she works very hard with her staff to come up with some amazing programs. There's a photo on page 62, and it shows some coloring, if you can see. I want to point out that adult coloring has become, if you talk about trends, has become very popular. We had close to 20 people in our boardroom today coloring at the library, and they were adults. I think that's amazing that someone comes in, you know, it's very therapeutic, they're saying. They're meeting new people, they're connecting in the library, and this was a very successful program that was put on today by Mary Storage at our library. And so these are things that we know are popular and kind of taking off, and so we are trying very quickly, if we can, to touch base and make those available at the library as well. On page 64, we have a report from Mary Ann Zermulin from our Support Services Department, and then our statistics follow. This is the year-end for statistics so that you can see how we did for the year. One thing I wanted to point out to you was on page 67, if you look at library usage, we definitely did go up in our library usage, and those are visitors to the library. So I'm happy to see that. And another thing I want to add is that when your August meeting, but your July report shows up, you'll see a new area for statistics that we're going to add right in this section. And that is the opportunity to let you know how the drive-through is being used. We've added a counter to the drive-through, and we know that for the most part, that is separate usage from someone coming into the building. So it won't be 100%, but it'll be very close to give you statistics on how much drive-through and activity goes through our drive-through on a daily basis. And you'll start seeing that. We added the counter just a month ago, tested it, and we'll be reporting those statistics to you starting for July. Moving along, another one that I wanted to point out to you is on page 74, and that's our app. And if you look at the app, by month, look at June, 47,000 hits on our app and what people are looking at. So our catalog, their account, Zinio is our downloadable magazines, Overdrive is our downloadable books, and then the library locator, where are we? So people are trying to find us and figure out where we are and what we do. I think that's amazing that that app has worked so well for us. Yeah. And it's definitely geared towards another, type of technology user. So I think we did a great job knowing that people went into the app world and have taken on that and are using that instead of maybe even our website, even though it can take you to the website from there. So
It's good.
Following on page 75, 76, 77 are the Friends of the Novi Library agenda and minutes currently through June that were approved and available to you. And then I did include some photos from their annual meeting, which happened last week, so that you could see their check presentation at that time. And then I'm also very proud of the article that's on page 80. This was a Novi News article that was written by our superintendent, Steve Matthews. And if you look at this article, Steve never hesitates to mention the library when he's talking about reading and continuing education. I know he mentions it here for summer reading, which Steve is a voracious reader, but Steve also mentions us all through the year when he does other articles, and I think it's amazing that we have that relationship with him and that he looks to the library as a very positive place for his students and parents to go. So I do want to thank him for doing that. And that's all I have. If there's any other questions in regard to my report.
Any questions? Nope. Good information. Thank you, Julie.
You're welcome.
Okay, committee reports. The Policy Committee, Finance Committee, Events and Marketing and Fundraising Committee, and Strategic Planning Committee have no action at this time. Trustee Verma, do you want to briefly talk about the HR Committee?
Yes, we met our member Tara and the executive director Julie. We met. We talked about And the input we have already received from some of the trustees about the evaluation. So after the 1 hour discussions, finally we decided that we should add a self-evaluation by the director. So she is very excited for that, and only thing is I will say that self-evaluation is once a year, not every 6 months.
Yeah.
So that when the time comes and she will write on the initiatives we have. That's what we discussed.
Good.
Tara,
Thank-
you want to add anything?
I think you covered a lot of it. Yeah, we definitely took everybody's comments into consideration, so thank you for sending them. That was really important for us. And based on our conversation and what we had from other libraries as well as from the discussion we had in the room, it just sounded like the self-evaluation was really important to get that piece to give to people, to get a good snapshot of how Julie thinks she's doing. So.
Good, thank you.
But I was so struck by, I did not see a stellar example of library director evaluation.
I was shocked myself when I got them.
I was so disappointed in looking at them. I think ours is as good as any, and I don't think ours is good enough, really, because as Trustee Wood has said, it is so subjective on areas that we have very little input. So if we're going to really do our job well, I think the self-evaluation opens a level of discussion in a way we've not had before. But there do not seem to be any great examples or models out there.
I was even shocked by the number of responses that I did receive where they're not even being evaluated.
Yes. Yes.
So it was like, oh, and I like the feedback. I mean, I think that, I think every year it's good to touch base and get a pulse from all of you as to I know that I would be hearing that. We have a very good and a very strong board where you provide that information, but I think it's good once a year to have that opportunity where we sit and we talk together about that, about performance and about where you see me moving forward for you and for the library. So I do appreciate doing that every year, and I welcome continuing to do that.
Going back to my, less is more kind of a model, we have so many goals, and you have so many responsibilities, and so many departments, and so many employees, that maybe it would be helpful to kind of like give all of that a look, but to really hone in on 1 or 2 areas that the board feels it could be most supportive of you in what it is that you're trying to do.
I welcome that, sure.
So some opportunity to do that.
Very good.
Do you have an organization chart?
I do.
of your-
Would you like me to send
Yes,
it?
we'd like to see that copy.
I think we all would.
Sure, absolutely. Happy to send it out to you.
Next, the Building and Landscape Committee is actually meeting tomorrow to talk about things like the bioswale and energy reduction and a few other things. So we should have a little more information at the next meeting to provide. The Bylaw Committee, Trustee Lawler?
We did meet several weeks ago and came up with some good improvements, I thought. Julie had procured a copy of another community's bylaws that had a couple of things that we thought were valuable, but I think it also sort of struck home the point that ours was pretty good to begin with. So we've made a few changes, and there's one more element that I think the city is working on, that once that's completed, we'll have a proposal for the board about some final changes that we'd like to make to the bylaws.
Good, thank you.
So we're hoping for September, I think, that we can bring a draft to you.
Great, thank you. We have reached the second opportunity for members of the public to come forward. In order to hear all citizen comments at a reasonable hour, the library board requests that speakers respect the 5-minute time limit. This is not a question and answer session, therefore the library board members will not respond to questions. It is an opportunity to voice your thoughts with the Novi Public Library Board of Trustees. Seeing no one coming forward to the podium, we will move on to point 15, which is matters for board action. As you'll see there, it looks like what we're doing is we had budgeted $17,500 in the prior year budget for an activity which was not done, but will be done next year. And what we're doing is backing it out of last year's budget and adding it into this year's budget.
So just so you know, it's a security camera project that we had some upgrades and some additional cameras to add. The work is being done. What happened was the work was not completed by the end of the fiscal year. When that happens, we have to roll over because we start the new year. I can tell you that it was not on the library's end. We're working with a company where we had some equipment that was not able to be shipped in time for them to install, so it was some time delays on the company. When working with the city finance department, I asked them for the best way that they'd like us to move forward with that. Carl gave a recommendation for us to move the money so that which the work should be done in about a week. We're very close to it. It just didn't happen by the end of June. We'll be able to then go ahead and make payment. It will come out of the 16-17 budget and reflect that.
Yeah.
So we need a budget amendment so
Right.
that it shows that.
If my memory is correct, if we look at the budget report that we had earlier, it was moved out of 15-16 and put into 16-17. Okay. Do you know, is the anticipated expenditure still covered by that $17,500?
It is, yes. It is,
Okay.
it is confirmed to be close to that number, and we'll fall just under it, I believe.
Any questions or comments regarding this change? Yes?
I just have a question. If this is an unanticipated cost to this coming year's budget,
Correct.
what then will be taken out of this year's budget to make up for the $17,000 that we have to charge to this budget?
I didn't.
know my
I
question
actually,
is?
per the budget, it's our fund balance is actually going to go up in terms of usage in order to have this project be completed. Based on how we did in 15-16 and at least
Right.
seeing what's going on so far.
Yeah, had we gotten a bill
Right.
by the end of June,
Yes.
we would have paid it, and it would have reduced our fund balance for the end of
Correct.
June. Instead, that money is in our fund balance,
It
and
is.
we're going to take it out in July.
So it's only the fund balance
It's purely a
that's-
timing issue.
It is.
By the end of July, it would be exactly the same as if we had completed it in June. Any other comments, questions? If not, would someone like to make a motion to do what this says?
A motion to approve an amendment to the 16-17 budget to reflect the addition of $17,500 in capital outlay for 986 data processing, security camera upgrade due to the work not being completed in 15-16. Do I hear a motion to?
Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes unanimously. And we have reached,
Mr.
Yes.
Chairman, I have one question.
yes, sir?
This project which we just finished, the road,
Yes,
we moved the money to the city.
correct.
I understand that there was no extra money to be paid to any contractor, and we must have some money in the contingency in the budget. If they have not used that contingency money, are we getting back?
I can ask that question. I have not had that question raised, and I can find out. As far as I know, we moved over what we needed based on what the contract was. I haven't heard that there's been any changes, so I can find out.
We moved because when we prepare the budget, design, construction and
Right.
everything, then we keep X amount of dollar in the contingency, because they might be, I think they broke one of the wire when the Bright House people came.
Correct.
Did we pay for that?
No, we did not. Those
Okay.
are, yeah.
The point is, please ask them, if there is a contingency money, if they kept it, can we get it back?
Okay.
Good point. Good point. Any other questions before I look for a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Can I make one?
Oh, yes?
I'm sorry, do you mind if I make one comment? I just want to bring your attention to future events. As you know, Pat Brunette from our Friends did mention the patio party. I just wanted to point it out, it is in your calendar. It is for August 26th. It's a Friday evening. If you can mark your calendars, we'd love to have all of you. You will receive an invitation, but I just wanted to give you that ahead of time. As well as the library being closed on August 19th, we have our in-service that day. If any of you would like to be a part of the day to see how we run the in-service and the types of programs and information that are going on that day, please let me know. Send me an email. We'd like to welcome you to be part of the day and then also to join us for lunch.
Explain what is this?
The in-service day, that's the day that we close. We do a lot of training that day. We usually bring in speakers. We try to have a little bit of fun with the staff, because it's the one day out of the year that we close that we can all be together. Updates, we're doing a customer service update. We will have, in fact, you'll see an agenda in the August meeting. I always tend to share it with you. But there is a customer service component. We have Steve Matthews from the school district coming to talk about what's going on in the schools and the different projects that they're working on and how we've been involved in the past. And then we have, I'm working on an afternoon speaker as well. So it's a day full of, training and workshops and camaraderie with the staff.
You give free lunch to the staff?
We do,
Good.
yes.
And did you say the August 26th gala is in the calendar?
Yes.
It needs to be in your calendar. Is it in the calendar in terms of what calendar?
Page 81.
Oh,
Did I
no,
miss-
it's not on the back
Oh,
calendar.
okay.
I apologize. It's
Oh,
in our
yeah, okay.
future events, my little notations for all of you.
Gotcha.
And you will get an e-vite. We're trying to do as much as we can electronically just to save paper,
Sure.
but you will be seeing that soon.
Julie, is this the same as what we did last year in October?
They moved it. They wanted to take advantage of the patio and weather, which I love. They are scaling it back, though. They didn't want to do, we had a lot of raffles and things like that last year, and they didn't want to do as much with that. We've got a few things that we're going to be unveiling at the library and to give our sponsors an opportunity, sponsors they are sponsors. They're sponsors and supporters that have, given over the years, so we can bring them into the library and let them see what's going on.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Will we see any of you at the Pour on the Shore this Friday?
I will be there.
running
I'll be there.
with Rachel. You guys are coming?
You are.
Oh,
What
great.
is this?
We have 13 restaurants and like 3 vendors for beer and wine. We have raffle, silent auction, cigar room. It's going to be 90-some degrees.
Yeah.
We have bands,
Very warm.
generators, we have a band. Tickets are $45. We have 401 tickets sold. Last year we sold out at 300, so we upped it to 5. So I'm sure we will be very close to 500, probably like 450, which is scary.
At least you're going to have a sunny day.
I volunteered to help Rachel, and so her and I have been a team for this whole process for the last couple of months. It's been a lot of fun.
Did you raise enough money with sponsors?
We are over our sponsorships by $1,500. We've had such amazing sponsors this year. Yeah, very generous. Yeah, so we had a goal of $1,500 over our goal.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's really exciting. It looks great. Rachel's amazing.
We did have a motion a few minutes ago to adjourn.
Wait. Can I don't know, sorry, I just need 10 seconds. I have signed up to take a class that is every Wednesday from August to December. So I may have to be missing the meetings through the end of the year. So I just wanted to let everybody know ahead of time. I'm going to see if there's any way if I could be excused from the class from my Wednesdays here. But I still will be doing the treasurer's report, just asking someone else to maybe read it for me, so I would still do my treasurer duties. But I will be letting you know more details once it gets a little closer.
Is there a second?
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.